Hello Taurus, I am back. I have had a little bit of a hiatus here. I had a baby, so you might hear her in the background. If she starts talking, she's very talkative, my little sweet newborn. So I am going to do end of March readings into April for you guys, and I'll go ahead and jump in and do April sometime soon as well. So I'll be using the Game of Thrones Tarot today, and I will also be using this little oracle that I made to draw a card at the end. It's my Wild Starfire Oracle, as I call it. So let's just jump into the shuffle and see what is coming up for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, for the end of March into April. And these energies can carry before or after as things do in our life, but we will be focusing on that time frame, what is prominent and important. And I have shuffled a lot between the videos. Sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising for the end of March going into April 2018. Do one more cohesive shuffle here and then we'll get on with it. Alright, for the most part, a much calmer deck than Aries was getting. They're just going crazy. Alright, though they did get the Emperor as well. And they did get the Strength card. Okay, so for those of you who are having Aries and Taurus in your chart, there will be some overlapping themes. All right, so I do see making a comeback being important. We had the jumper of the Six of Wands or the Six of Spears in this deck. So some of you guys are returning to a place that you have been before, like physically, somehow in traveling or returning to work after a time of not being there. Or some of you even returning back to a family situation or dynamic when you have been out of the cold, or you're trying to figure out how to do that. I am seeing for some of you that there has been judgments, arguments, things that have been going on in the home and the family that are affecting kind of the hierarchy of the family or the long-term stability of the family. Yes, and I can see that a lot of your spiritual energy and just like even your just day-to-day focus that should be going to your job has gone to the family dynamic for a lot of you. Some of you are even taking it using spiritual matters, whether that's prayer, magic, manifesting to kind of try to get control of things in your life here with the Emperor card, and handle power struggles and situations where you need to have the upper hand in the dynamic for your life in a more dominant and yet spiritual way. Some of you are really dealing with could be legalities, it could be contracts, and for some of you it could be like spirit contracts, like soul contracts that you have with people that you're feeling are like not up to snuff lately. They're not meeting what they're supposed to. I would definitely, with Mercury retrograde, you guys are coming up in the cards as being very sensitive to that. So really watch your documents, watch what your transactions are doing. If you're ready to pass judgment on some, I can see you're getting to the end of your limit with certain people, could be in the family dynamic or at work. Really think about that again, because you're getting sharp-tongued, but you're losing the focus of the long-term effects of that. So kind of stand in your place, as an emperor, as a commanding energy and force. You have to allow yourself the time to step back and really survey how it will affect all of your domain, basically, if you were to kind of pop off on some. Because I do see some Taurus finally getting really short of temper and getting very sharp-tongued and wanting to kind of cut someone down. The Strength card. So this is a card of being tired of handling your vices, basically. You're tired of being the one who has to stop, think about it, control yourself, toe the line, that kind of thing. So again, going into the fact that you might be ready to really let your temper loose. So just be aware of that. With Mercury retrograde in Aries, it's kind of asking us to watch just shooting off our tempers, because we could really regret it. But for some of you, it's really down to family pressures. For some of you, it's the fact that you've been the money earner for a long time, or that you want another partner to help you out, or that you have maybe shared custody and the other person hasn't been helping with the finances. For some of you, it's the pressures of spiritual pressures and belief systems that are really affecting you, like what the family expects you to believe, or even schooling or something of that nature. Just believing and thinking differently, and having been very much, here we see, like imprisoned within the family dynamic and not able to just relax and live, a supported, comfortable life without feeling that others are really trying to expect less of you, or to think that you deserve less in a very like bare minimal survival kind of way. So maybe you're trying to progress, but the way that others are tearing into you or kind of insinuating their expectations for you, it makes you still feel like you're supposed to be like low grade, or that you're not supposed to have what you have coming from where you're coming from, or that unless you do for the family you can't be successful yourself, even though right now the advice is that you really need to focus on yourself and getting yourself straight, because that's how you'll build up what you need to for the family. Okay. And yep, that's exactly what it's showing, slow and steady here. All right, let's take a peek at your subconscious energy. Is the Page of Cups. So you're really wanting to have, sweetness and, dreaminess, and move forward into a place where you really trust your intuition. You can move more like just peacefully and lovingly through life, and not feel like you have to defend yourself or cut into others or be on your toes all the time. There's this feeling of anxiety and being on your toes that's there, and this part of you wants to just not care, follow your intuition, sleep it off. And the other part of you is really having some like anxiety or insomnia and stress with this. So finding the balance between that, because there is kind of a disbalance that's going on within you, Taurus. Knight of Coins, allowing yourself to just build it up stable and securely. So some of these people could be Aries that you're dealing with. They could be Gemini. They could be Virgo or Pisces that are, and I see Leo here as well, who are giving you some of these troubles, or who are, there are some supportive family members. I do see that, but there's definitely some stuff going on either side of it. And here we have you getting ready to just walk away from it all, regardless of what you had said you would do or wouldn't do, just getting tired of what you've put into it and deciding that this is like, these aren't your people after all. This is not where you want to be. This is, it's just not for you. And yet it's still showing you able to be stable and maintain what you invested. So it is possible somehow, with whatever situation you're looking at right now, Taurus, to keep the progress that you have made in your life. I feel like you've been working really hard on yourself. You've been working hard on your finances, your health, whatever it is that you've been focusing on. You've been really working hard, and you can leave others who are not supportive or who are toxic or who you've just outgrown without endangering what you have done. Some of you are very specifically worried about your business. I see some entrepreneurs here. Very worried about your business. You have markers of long-term success. You really do. Some of you, I feel like your family dynamics of who may be adopting someone in, or like bringing in a stepchild, or the way that you want to make your family nucleus is contrary to what the established family wants you to do. And so there could be some issue with that. And I see that you just deciding to do it the way that you want to, whether adopt children in or handle your children or your stepchildren the way that you feel is fit, and just kind of go about your life the way that you want to. And that is definitely the advice. So let's go ahead and take an oracle card here and see any further advice for the sign of Taurus here in March. Oh, there we go. All right. This card is called Calling Wild. Come to me, sisters, come together. There's trouble to brew. Crying out loud and summoning. And it is the Mercury card. So we do have Mercury being very, and this is actually Mercury. It's not the moon. And we have a person here calling out, and we have these penguins who can weather through everything, and they have their different roles and they support each other. So if you've been going through a tough time and you're feeling guilty for asking family for help, and they've been judging you and leaving you out in the cold and acting like you're some, foreign creature that like, oh, how could you? No one else in the family suffers that way, or, that kind of thing. So whether it's because you're successful or because you are struggling, or ironically, there's kind of a mix of both. Almost like in some ways you're really successful, but in some ways you're still needing help from the family. And on both sides of that, you're getting flack. This is saying find that group, find that the people who can support you, right? And don't worry about the others, because penguins have very they have very strange roles. The male penguin will sit there and watch the egg and the blizzards and everything while the female makes it back to the ocean to eat and things of that nature. So they're not just what humans, their society thinks of family dynamics. So this is calling in connecting maybe with siblings, connecting with people who are like siblings or cousins, people who have that feeling that you're calling together. It says come together, there's trouble to brew. People who have, fun with your mischief or whatever everyone else is judging, they see that it's not toxic, it's just you doing you. Crying out loud, making sure you're releasing, again, in a healthy way. We don't want to overly target our boss or someone in the family and end up giving yourself more grief than you need to at the moment, but finding a way to release what you are feeling and at least acknowledge it to someone that you can trust, or even just out to the universe itself, or however, to the night sky, releasing that. But knowing that you have the right to communicate what you want, to put your boundaries out, and to socialize and to connect with others and to be focusing on other things, not just, being the breadwinner for whoever or doing the schedule that whoever wants you to do. So go ahead and open up to those people that you can trust and get that support, Taurus. So that is your reading for the end of March into April. I hope you liked it. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. I am on Instantgo now, so I'll put that link down there and all my information for Facebook and all of that. And I will see you soon.